I have not squatted in exactly 632 days. Now I know what you're thinking. Good for you, Big Joe. Every day is arm day. Now I know what you're thinking. Why in the have you been skipping leg day, Big Joe? I am going to show you guys the dangerous and deteriorating effects of skipping leg day.
Welcome to Big Joe Entertainment.
Now let me ask you guys something. Do you really need to squat to grow your legs? Or is it overrated?
One exercise you should never do is this dumb shit. You should never squat.
Focusing heavily on squats and deadlifts is actually bull.
So as of today, I've officially stopped barbell squatting.
Squats are the king of exercises if you want to build muscle and look good. I actually had the opposite experience.
Long story short, I've had some hip complications for the past few years, and after a couple of surgeries and treatments for it, it's kept me from squatting all this time. Alright, so in the meantime, I've had to train my legs in other ways that didn't include any kind of squatting movements. Now, I'm about to say a very hot take that probably many of you will disagree with me on this, but I don't think people really understand the vitally important role your genetics has on your muscle growth. And listen, this isn't just a cop-out excuse for having like small legs or whatever, okay, but just listen to my case here, alright, hear me out. Now, me personally, I'd say my best feature on me would definitely be my chest. It's just the most developed muscle on my body and it just pops out the most. I mean, it's just massive, okay? People often don't believe me when I tell them this, but I literally do not train chest hard at all. I do a few sets of bench, maybe go to failure on my last set, if that, but that's literally it for me. Like, I'm done after that. I don't train it hard at all. But why is it that I train every other muscle with way more intensity and volume, yet my chest always outshines everything else? Genetics. I think I could make the case, as crazy as this sounds, that I could completely stop training my chest, dedicate my whole training style focused around my legs, and my legs would still never catch up to my chest. I mean, my whole family's genetic makeup, we've all just been genetically leaner on our legs, and it's just always been a very stubborn muscle group for us to grow. And this whole genetics thing is just like completely unfair, right? Like, I know people who rarely work out, if ever, and when they do, they just go in and carelessly toss around a few dumbbells. And yet they manage to have physiques way better than people who actually religiously track their progress in the gym and take very logical steps in working out hard, dieting properly, and just consistently on the gym grind. Or think about this. You could adopt Chris Bumstead's 100% exact identical workout program, diet, the supplement he takes, literally everything he does down to the T, and you will still never have the same exact physique as him, just because we're all programmed genetically so differently. Now, obviously, you still have like an absolutely insane physique, all right? There's no doubt about that. But compared to C-Bum, you just have different muscle insertions, different metabolic rate, different muscle fiber types. Maybe some muscle groups are just harder for you to grow compared to others. The point I'm trying to make here is everyone is dealt genetic cards in life, and some people are just dealt better hands than others. Now, what I'm not saying is just because you may have weaker biceps, you should just accept your genetic fate. No, actually, I'm saying you can and should still maximize the genetic potential you have for your biceps and continue to train them hard. But your genetic best after training your biceps very hard and intense consistently may be someone else's weak point. They could then adopt your training following exactly everything you do, and yet somehow their biceps will grow crazy bigger than yours just because they were dealt some better cards genetically. However, with all that being said, because I'm getting a little off topic, this is what my legs looked pre-surgeries back when I squatted consistently, and this is what my legs look like currently now, almost 2 years of not squatting. Now, I'm going to take you guys through one of my typical leg workouts, and I'd love to hear you guys' thoughts on it, and also what you guys think of the genetics discussion I had. Drop a comment down below, tell me your opinion on that. So welcome to my leg day, guys. Now, right off the bat, I have a very unorthodox style of training, so pay very close attention. But over the past 6 months, I have adopted a high intensity, low volume style of training, which I've really come to love, and I have noticed some gains from it as well, but I'm going to explain exactly to you guys how this works. First, I train each muscle twice per week. I follow a push-pull legs split, but with an extra rest day. So it goes push-pull legs, rest, push-pull legs, rest, and repeat like that. Rest days are important, so do not skip them. Now, each workout day, I only hit 3 working sets per muscle. Today I'm hitting 3 sets calf extensions, 3 sets hamstring curls, 3 sets leg extensions. That's it. Set number 1, I pick a weight I could get anywhere between 8 to 15 clean reps of it. And on every set of every single exercise, no matter what I do, I always try to slightly pause at the peak contraction for a second and then slowly control the weight back down. Now, I'm not perfect in doing this strictly for every single rep every time, but mentally it helps me keep good form and make sure I'm not cheating myself on any of these reps, right? So it's cliche, but listen. Treat every rep like it's the last you will ever do. After I do 8 to 15 reps going to failure and even doing a few partial reps after that, when I begin to break strict form, I immediately lower the weight a little and do 2 reps of static holds for 20 seconds each. I hold the weight and make sure my muscle is in its peak contraction and really focus on squeezing the muscle, flexing the muscle, getting all that blood flow and lactic acid built up in there. And after about 20 seconds, I'm going to begin to fail the rep, so I'll come back down with it, rest for no more than 3 seconds, then do 1 more static hold rep exactly like that again for 20 more seconds. Then after all that, to wrap up my first set, I take 15 to 20 seconds to stretch out whatever muscle I just hit. I found one study where doing this can be very beneficial for muscle growth, and the burn on this is also just absolutely insane. Like, even stretching your muscle out like that after hitting a hard set is absolutely not easy at all. And that trifecta of the reps to static holds to stretching would be my first set. Moving on to my second set, I do the same exact thing but in reverse. So I start with doing 2 reps of static holds for 20 seconds each, then I lower the weight to something I could get around 8 to 15 reps with, going to failure, and even some partial reps beyond failure at the end of that. Sometimes I do an additional drop set, lowering the weight again, just so I can bang out a few more reps, going even farther beyond failure. And yes, again, to finish it all off, I stretch out the muscle for 20 more seconds after that set. After that, congratulations, because set number 2 is completed. And finishing it all off, set number 3, the last set for whatever muscle I'm training, I simply finish off with 2 reps of static holds as a finisher, and that's it.
Hey guys, welcome to my vlog. Welcome. Hitting legs. I'm just here.
That's gonna be the intro to the video. Now at this point you're probably wondering, yo, Big Joe, what the hell is up with all these damn static holds? What the hell are you even talking about? Here is my logical explanation for that. Currently, my whole training philosophy is focused around high intensity training. For any given exercise, the most intense part of the movement where the muscle is stimulated the most is always going to be the peak contraction of the movement. If you just go through the typical motion of an exercise, you're only going to be at the peak contraction for a fraction of the time. But if you're doing these isometric holds that I do and really focus on contracting hard and squeezing the muscle, you're gonna be at that intense peak contraction for the entire duration of that set, which will induce the most metabolic stress on the muscle, which will ultimately stimulate the most muscle growth. Think about it. The hardest part of the set is when your muscle is fully contracted. There's no momentum for you to move the weight or do anything. Anyone can just carelessly toss a weight up and down and go through the motions, but it takes guts and some serious balls to throw yourself into the fire and do the hardest part of the exercise for your entire set by doing these static holds. But overall, my thoughts on this training style is, it's different, it's a little unusual, and I absolutely love it. I'm willing to bet if you're one of the probably 14 people to watch this video, you have never trained like this before, but if you adopt this training style or philosophy just for a few months, I'd be willing to bet you will notice a serious increase in gains. Listen, life isn't fair. I want you to keep in mind everything I told you next time you find yourself comparing yourself to other people and their progress. Instead, compete and win the war against your old self, where you were yesterday, last week, month, year ago. Focus on making your future self proud of you today and get your ass in the gym and train hard. Thank you guys for watching. Let me know what you guys want to see for future videos and subscribe if you want to get big.